Hi everybody, and let me introduce you Tom Robinson, President and Chief Executive Officer of AACSB International, which is the primary global accredited and membership organization of business schools worldwide. And my first question would be about how the leading business schools should build their strategies in the new digital world, how to meet the business expectations.
Yeah, so today business schools, it's like running a business. You have to be agile, you have to keep up with what's happening in technology and in business and in society. So what business schools today are doing is they're working very closely with the business community at identifying the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are needed today to operate in the current business environment and also prepare the students at the same time for jobs that don't yet exist, that will exist in the future.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about Russian business education? What is gained already and what is lacking? What should be fixed? What should be introduced?
Yeah, so business education in Russia is obviously newer than in many other parts of the world. There are maybe 100 business schools here. You contrast that with a place like India where there are over 3,000 business schools. They've had them for quite some time. The business schools here are extremely high quality. So being here at the Gaidar Forum and being able to hear from prime ministers from around the world and former prime ministers about the current political and economic situation is really impressive. So it's high quality business education here as it is in other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. And how can Russian business schools actually gain more recognition abroad?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So they're high quality, they're certainly known within the country, but they're not as known internationally. Part of it is that a lot of the ranking agencies require that you have some international recognition or international accreditation in order to make those rankings. AACSB has just started working with business schools here in Russia, and they're going through the accreditation process. And I think that will naturally lead to more international recognition. Russian business schools are also partnering with other business schools around the world to provide exchange opportunities for their students and their faculty. And those types of activities will further increase the international reputation.
Well, that's good news about your more involvement in accreditation in Russia. So, Thank you. Let's switch to the prospects of MBA.
Yeah.
Because it's been a lot of talks about necessity of MBA and executive MBA programs. What do you think?
Yeah, so the MBA is never going to go away. It's critical to have management and leadership skills at some point in your career. But business education is much broader than that. So really, business education, if you look, the bulk of enrollments around the world are actually at the undergraduate level. About 75% of business school enrollments are undergraduate, where you need sort of a broad understanding of business. And then early in your career, you often need specialty knowledge in accounting or data analytics or finance. The MBA is really for more management and leadership skills. So we've seen growth over the last 5 years of about 3% in enrollments of MBA program. It's not very fast, and I would expect that's going to continue. I think that we're going to see an increase overall in business school enrollments, but it won't always be at the MBA program. It'll be in undergraduate, it'll be in specialty masters, it'll be in executive development programs, not strictly speaking the MBA. And I think going forward, the MBAs that are part-time or executive programs or blended programs will probably see a higher growth rate than the traditional 2-year full-time MBA.
Yeah, wow, that sounds like a good perspective. Yeah, and what methods for teaching top managers do you think are kind of urgent now and are in need today?
Yeah, so I think today you need to teach them agility, how to cope with change, how to build the right culture in an organization, a culture that will lead to innovation and experimentation. It's about being much less hierarchical than managers were in the past, and basically having empathy and emotional intelligence and knowing how to lead a team and not tell them what to do.
Wow, that sounds like an ideal person.
Right. They are hard to come by, but you can learn it.
Right. So that's a great challenge for a business school, by the way.
Yeah.
So what are the main criteria of evaluation of business school?
Yeah. So we look at their strategic planning. We look at how engaged they are with the business community, how engaged they are with the students. Are they innovating their programs and their curriculum? Are students learning what they should be learning? So we have, one of the things we look at is assurance of learning. We want to make sure that every program has learning goals about what students need to be able to do when they complete it. And we want to make sure the school is following through to make sure students are achieving those learning goals. And if they're not, revising their curriculum appropriately or their delivery of that curriculum appropriately. And then lastly, we look at the impact the business school is having. What's the impact they're having on their students? What's the impact they're having on business, on intellectual contributions, on the economy, on the local community? So we're really looking at three things: engagement, innovation, and impact.
Right. Let's have a minute of imagination. Yeah. Can you describe an ideal business school, let's say in 5 years or 10 years?
Yeah, so I wouldn't go out 10 years because things will probably change again. So I would say the ideal business school in 5 years is going to be blended. It's going to combine technology with live education, giving students exposure to all the ways we do business. Sometimes we still do business live, sometimes we do it virtually. So they have to have that exposure to a variety of technologies. I think it's going to be much more about experiential learning. So there'll be very few lectures, and it'll mainly be working on live, real business cases, and the students are solving them as they're going through their program.
Okay. And what are your impressions on Gaidar Forum? Maybe you can share with everybody.
Yeah, the Gaidar Forum has been a fantastic experience. So yesterday I attended the panel with the Prime Minister of Russia, Prime Ministers, Vice Prime Ministers of Singapore and Finland, and it's just an amazing experience to hear these leading individuals talk about the current political environment, the current economic environment, and what needs to be done to really move the world forward, because we're in a difficult place right now. And it's one of the things that came out of yesterday is we need to rebuild trust between countries and rebuild the cooperation that's occurred in the past. So I think this has been a fantastic event, and one that we don't often see at business schools around the world.
Thank you very much for your time, and looking forward to see you on the next Gaidar Forum.
I'm looking forward to coming back. Thank you.
Thank you.